All right. I'm Matt. He's also Matt. I have to say it that way this time because we changed the name to the Wrestling Mats. So it makes no sense to call him Ben this time. So we're just going to call him Matt like he is. You can find us at the Wrestling Mats on YouTube. Our individual YouTubes and or Twitches are also below our names. And what we gonna do today? What we gonna do today? Give me a break. What words are hard, man. What we're doing tonight is talking about the Raw that just took place here on 6/30/2025. It actually aired early out of the PPG Arena in Pittsburgh. And yeah, it was another episode of Raw.
Yeah.
Where do you want to start? What jumps out at you first?
Um, I guess I don't know, right at the top of my head, Karrion Cross continuing to attack Sammy backstage. Almost seemed like that was maybe handled with their match, but I guess not. Um,
No, because um, it's clear that that Cross's alternative motives or main motive, not even alternative, it's his main motives is to um, bring out some type of darker sense in people. It's almost like he is the devil on everybody's shoulder. Is what his thing is. You know, they even mention that as they talk about New Day in the New Day match against Judgment Day, how I think it was Michael Cole blamed um, Cross for getting in their ear and making them turn on Big E. Uh, so it's kind of like that's his thing right now. Like he is the devil on everybody's shoulder. And since Sammy hasn't gone to the dark side yet, I don't think he's done.
okay.
I could be right. That's just how I read it, at least.
So that could be a thing where it's just he stays on until essentially Sammy goes heel, starts possibly
Right.
attacking his friends, going for, any of the big titles.
Yes, that's that, or maybe he eventually just gives up and moves on out of frustration. So,
You
but
know,
yeah, that was good. I always like seeing those two, Scarlett and Cross backstage doing stuff. That's always good. Um, what did we start the night with? We started the night off with what did we start the night with?
we're both gonna blank on that already, because we were waiting to start this.
Oh, Ripley. Duh. Ripley started the night off. Trying to figure out what she was gonna do next, and as I try to figure out how high my mic should be.
And then Io Sky came out to
Show respect and pretty much challenge her because she is the top woman in the division.
yeah.
So, yeah, interesting match for that pay per view. It's kind of weird because we did just set everything up with the King of the Ring and the Queen of the Ring tournaments, but that doesn't happen till SummerSlam. So, yeah, I guess they want a high profile match for the women's pay per view, and you don't get higher profile than those two. So, it should be good. Just I don't know if this will be the time Rhea finally beats Io or not. I don't know.
Yeah, I
Hard to
mean
say.
they've been they were kind of building that with those two for a bit, but they kept putting Belair in there too, and now currently
She's got to be coming
her
back soon, right? I mean,
yeah,
she's been fixing her finger
probably.
now for a month or two.
I think it's about a month. I don't know if it's quite two yet.
It looks pretty brutal either way. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying hey, suck it up. No, that she's got like a steamroller thing for her finger that she uses. She showed one time that like compresses and It's like a cold press, but like a steamroller. It's take your time, fix your finger. um, but yeah, they played it up the entire angle the entire time for that triple threat scenario was Rhea's never beat Io. So the question mark is I'm sure they're going to play that same angle back again, but is this the time she gets the win, or do we keep it on Io?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know where they go with that.
Well, Jade
Um,
won the Queen of the Ring, so Is Jade? Yeah, Jade is SmackDown, right?
Um, shoot.
Naomi is
Um,
SmackDown, and she was chasing Naomi there for a while.
I guess so. I'm not really sure. I'm kind of forgetting.
I'm thinking she's SmackDown.
Okay.
Unless they move her to Raw after the win, anyways, because maybe people won't remember. We watch weekly. We watch everything weekly, and we still don't remember. So maybe they just like get on Raw. Just get over there.
You know how they kind of mess it up a little bit is they have like some of the like big matches they're trying to hype, they'll end up having people doing double duty. So you start
Right.
getting people that are on both shows and you start getting the roster mixed up in your head a little bit because this person that's on Raw is showing up on SmackDown and intermingling, and
Right.
then you get to questions like this and you're like, I think I'm a little confused.
Well, who did she wrestle to get qualified in there? They were on. She was on SmackDown. I'm like 90% sure.
Oh, to get qualified in there? Like
Yeah.
the last match was for, for Queen of the Ring.
Um.
The last one was Asuka.
Right, but that one doesn't count.
Okay. Before that was Bliss.
And she is.
I think she's SmackDown, so I think you might be right.
Get a bracket. That's an old one. That's an old one.
You can't find the up to date ones, only the
No.
old ones.
Da, 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 da. From SmackDown.
Because at this point, you almost might as well just Google the SmackDown roster. Although, who knows what you get then?
Yeah, no, this was Cargill defeated Meechin, Piper Nevin, and Nia Jax. So she has been competing on SmackDown.
Oh,
There was that took way too long. I'm sorry, but I needed to know the answer because that just goes back to the whole Tiffany,
Asuka beat
Tiffy.
Bliss. Yeah.
You need to watch your back because everybody who has a cash in possibility is chilling on your show.
Oh, ish.
Naomi could go
Ugh.
anywhere, but Naomi doesn't go to Raw. So that's as much as she could. Just like technically, Seth can go either place. Um, she's on SmackDown apparently for the most part, and now Jade wins from SmackDown, and so she gets the chance at her at SummerSlam. And Tiffy's just got a line of people coming after her, and Nia won't get out of the way on her own right. She refuses to go away. So
Yeah. Well,
I still stand by my statement, though. I still think Jade gets the win, but then Naomi cashes in at SummerSlam and takes the belt right off of her.
yeah, that would make sense to kind of keep that feud really kind of going.
It
Keeping it
reunites
hot.
that feud essentially.
Yeah.
Jade, we had a small taste of Jade with the belt, which I'm sure they want because she has that look, but immediately steals it away from her and elevates the heelness of Naomi. That's what I expect to happen.
Yeah.
That one I have a better feel for what I think will happen there than I do with Io versus Ripley. I have no feel for that one. I'd like to say Ripley's going to win, but I have no idea.
I'm not really sure because Io's held it for a little while here. Been some time.
Yeah, but who has she wrestled last?
It was the 3-way dance, wasn't it? Wasn't that the last time? Or am I forgetting something?
There has to be something in between, right?
It wasn't just Rhea and Belair, because
It-
that's where Belair got hurt.
right. That was
Hasn't just
that.
been that.
What was WrestleMania? That was WrestleMania, right?
Yeah, yeah, because they built up the three-way for WrestleMania.
If that was WrestleMania and that was the last time she, no, that couldn't have been. She had to wrestle somebody.
I think so, but who? Why am I forgetting? Um,
I mean, she just had to. Otherwise, I don't know what's going on with that belt. I don't think she wrestled anybody at Money in the Bank because I think everybody was tied up in matches.
yeah. Yeah, it does
Then
feel like it was someone just recently.
she had to have wrestled somebody. I don't know off the top of my head though.
Yeah,
Can't
I
think of
can't
who.
think.
Either way,
Too much
she
time
hasn't been
drafting.
defending the belt a lot. We can say that.
Yeah,
So maybe there's an injury. Maybe they don't know what to do with that. I don't know, but
it's almost like they kind of like got to build up other story because they kind of had something with the three of them, and then one of the three of them got hurt. And now it's just kind of like, well, this is a little awkward.
well, I think they had other plans for Ripley too, and now they have to detour that because of Liv getting hurt and stuff like that. I think Liv had a massive potential role at the women's pay-per-view coming up, and now they
Yeah.
got to change all of that.
Yeah,
So-
agreed.
But I don't know. They'll figure it out. Either way, we get to see a great match. Those two will put on a hell of a match like always.
Oh yeah, for sure.
What happened after that? Let's see what happened. Was that Gunther after that?
I don't know if it was quite Gunther after that. We had at least a
The tag match.
after that.
Duh.
Yeah. Yeah.
So-
So it was New Day and Judgment Day.
Mm-hmm.
Really kind of weird that was like, can you call them heel tag
No.
team versus heel tag team?
No, that was actually my takeaway from the match was the crowd was solely behind Judgment Day, like hardcore, cheering for things they were doing.
So they just worked them out of a heel spot into just faces again.
I
Just
think it's
flat out.
mostly. Well, I think they're all liked, but I think Finn's over the top positive attitude as of late.
And watching how shit's kind of like, oh, it's
Yep,
going
yep,
sideways.
yep. Like they're the bad guys, but they're the bad guys with personality, whereas the New Day is the bad guys with no personality.
And JD's just there, kind of oblivious, being a total bro. Just like,
He sees what's
"All right,
going
let's-
on. He sees, so he just ain't gonna mess with it. He's like, I'm just gonna go out there and do my thing.
I'm gonna win titles. All right.
Every friend group has got that guy who's like, I see all of this, but I ain't messing with any of it.
Yeah, it ain't my drama.
Nope.
In the middle.
Let's go
of
win
it.
tag titles.
Yeah. Do what we gotta do. I'll ignore all that. All right.
Yep. That's JD. Oh, he's so good.
Ugh.
Might be a little bit loud. I'll
Well-
turn myself down just a little bit. I might be peeking here or close to it.
Everybody in
Um,
the New Day now that's currently not disowned or injured has a title.
Oh, Judgment Day.
Judgment Day. What did I say? New Day.
New Day.
again? Ah, son of a bitch.
I'm
Did
like,
that
they
last week.
They just lost all their titles. So I was like,
Too many friggin' days. Everything's a
there
day.
are a lot of
New Day,
days.
Judgment Day, Green Day. Fuck off.
Billy Joel Osment or whatever his name do to you guys. What's that guy's name?
Billy Joe Armstrong.
There we go. That's the one. The other one's
You
an
bring-
actor.
For the longest time, you bring it up, and I'm like, what about Billy Joel? No, not him. But now he might be, he may be equally or more famous than Billy Joel at this point.
Yeah.
Just because of the longevity of his career, and he's still getting young fans. Anyways, this isn't a music podcast.
We could talk some NWA and get Billy Corgan involved, but no.
Yeah, we could.
But no, great match overall. Was, like I said, mostly stunned by how well the crowd received Judgment Day, and I mean it was a great match overall. And I'm glad to see Judgment Day win those titles. I think it's great for the story. I think it's great for Judgment Day. I think it's great for the belts. I love New Day. Don't really know what was accomplished with their title run. Don't really know what that did for anybody. Not New Day, not um, titles, not I don't know.
Yeah, I mean the only thing I could see is like
Better posture.
with this like title changing hands is almost like they were like sort of like holding it prisoner from like every other tag team you might want to see take it away from them to kind of try and
Well, who were the other tag teams? You had the War Raiders,
yeah
and I guess you
um
have American Made.
yeah so you got some. I mean, yeah, Raw's men's tag team division is not as strong as SmackDown's, like
No.
not at all. um but yeah, I don't know. I think if anything, it was to kind of um, let it simmer for like one of the other teams to take it off of them for this kind of like kind of big enjoyment. Uh, from the opposite of like last week's Raw, like that was actually kind of like a really kind of like a I don't know, I'd say a up moment, a bit of a pop to it and everything. Just like, oh
That
shit,
was a great
they
match and
actually
a great
changed it.
moment. I'm with you.
Yeah. Because last week we didn't really have those. And this time it was just like, hey, got something pretty big. The match was great. They didn't do the obvious, like, oh, Finn gets hit in the head with the belt while the ref ain't watching. And he turns around, pins 1, 2, 3. No, he actually kicks out of it and the match
Yep.
continues.
Yep.
Um, yeah, it went in ways that it doesn't normally, and for a pretty good payoff. So
Yep.
I don't know. I think it was just have the New Day kind of hold on to the titles, rub it in people's faces until the right time came along to uh, move it off to another team. And I think this was kind of the right movement with the kind of downer that lives out for a bit, right as like the Roxanne Perez storyline was coming into it. Now it's like, well, we can still work with it, but we gotta like swerve it in a way where it's like Liv isn't here, kind of like how they did with Rhea not being there.
Right. Now I think this was always going to be I think they can stay on the same. If you have a storyboard out, like the key points can stay the same. It's the middle that has to change.
Yeah,
The ticks that get you to the points, the
we need
beats.
new meat.
Yeah. Don't bring back meat. There's
I
an
don't
ad.
think we can. Isn't he dead?
Wasn't he? I think he's a
John
I
Stasiak?
think he's a chiropractor.
Oh, is he? Oh, thank God. Maybe I'm thinking of someone else, and he's not. Thought we just got really morbid there.
He might follow me on Facebook.
Facebook, of all places.
Um,
I so hope
Sean
he's.
Sean Stasiak.
I hope he's still alive. I hope I'm like confusing him with Tess, which we do know is
He's an
past.
American Canadian chiropractor and motivational speaker.
Yes, you're right. I'm so happy you're right.
And then hold on. No, don't post. I don't have anything to post. I'm gonna search my friends
did,
group here. Hold on.
didn't mix it up. He was Meat, wasn't he? Wasn't that who was Meat? I forgot it was Sean Stasiak.
Is that his real name? What's his real name?
Well, it's certainly not Meat.
No, but I need to know his
What a stupid gimmick. He's Meat.
Vince
Like what?
McMahon for you, man. Vince McMahon for you. Da, 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 da.
All right, meaty meat to slap.
What did he go by? 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 As meat, yes.
Yeah, hey, all right.
And then ST.
I knew that one. I don't know why I all of a sudden went like he's dead. Like, geez, settle down there, Matthew. He just kind of changed careers and went a little adjacent to what he's doing now.
I don't follow him, so maybe he no longer follows me. But yes, he is a chiropractor that at one point definitely followed me on Facebook.
Okay. He probably eventually just went through his list and went like, "Who the fuck is this kid?"
There is a lot of overlap because of our local wrestling promoter.
Yeah.
That there's a lot of like overlap in potential friends,
Oh.
and I never try. And if I never met the person, I never like. I get a lot of the actual wrestlers' personal Facebook pages by their real names. And I know
Yeah.
why. It's because of the few friends in the wrestling indie scene and because of that promoter. And I'm like, I don't know them. I'm not
Yeah.
going to try to friend them.
The
But
only person I've done that with is Shogun. That's it.
that's fine
That's
because you've met
that's
Shogun
that.
before
That's
in
just kind of
person.
because I'm his friend. Like,
Right,
his fan, not friend. Not to say his fan.
right, right.
Um,
But like Ruby Soho will pop up, Shotzi will pop up, but their personal accounts, like their actual ones. And I'm like, yeah, no, good on
probably the
them.
only
That's a fun image for their profile pic. That means they're happy. That I'm happy with that.
probably the only thing that gave me the confidence to even follow Shogun is just the one time where I had been away from shows for a bit, showed up, and then at the end went to say hi to him before we were leaving while he was talking to some of the other wrestlers. And he turns around and just like, "Oh, hey," and gives me a big hug. I'm like,
Oh, he's
I
very
didn't expect
personable.
that.
Very personable.
Yeah,
He's a good guy.
like I couldn't. Well, he recognized me, and I didn't
Yep.
think I would have been. So I'm like, oh, okay,
Yep.
fine. It's just like how what was it? My first time at PAX, YouTuber and Twitch personality, Angry Joe, j- just kind of bumped into each other in the indie game section. He's just like, "Dude, you look really familiar. Do I know you?" I'm like, unless you lived in like the Cleveland area, no. There ain't no way. But
Right.
too bad I wasn't doing content then. I'd be like, "Oh no, you follow that stuff? You don't? Maybe you should."
Yeah.
I follow you.
Uh,
Enjoy the program.
oh boy, we got way off track. You
Yeah,
happen to
we did.
bring up Sean Stasiak, and I just happen to know that he followed me at one point because he's a chiropractor. And boy, we got way derailed. Who would have
Somehow
guessed that
brought
had
up
happened?
meat. Yeah.
Okay. Let's just
Free
jump
content.
right.
Anyways, moving on.
Yeah, let's just jump to the backstage segment involving Judgment Day because we're kind of right there, anyways.
Yeah.
And the return of the PS5 is great. I think it came back a week ago or something like that. They must have had to go buy a new one because
Oh yeah.
Carlito took the Clubhouse's original one.
Yeah, I was gone for a show right after he
Right.
was gone.
Everybody made a big deal out of it and they brought it back. But the thing that I noticed for it is they had a player select screen up behind them. You can have matches with like 8 people in them or whatever. So the fact that the player select screen behind them was JD, Finn, Dom, Raquel, and Roxanne in the middle with no Liv is a bit of foreshadowing to the attempt to or the process of eliminating Liv from the group and replacing her with Roxanne because you could have 6 people. It should have been, Liv also in there next to Roxanne, but with her not in there, I'm taking that as foreshadowing to the kicking her out essentially.
Yeah, and I missed that. You saw that all by yourself, and yeah, it kind of makes sense.
It makes you also wonder if you went back and looked at some of the matches they were playing at the same time, if there's any foreshadowing with some of that stuff that ever took
Yeah.
place in IRL.
Yeah. That'd be interesting to look back on, but who's got the time?
Right. There's 400 hours of content to watch new every day, anyways. It's too much.
Yeah,
So,
it really is.
but yeah, I just wanted to point that out. I think it's going well. I think it should be funny. I think it should be interesting. Could set up a really good feud between Liv and Roxanne for a year straight if they wanted to at this rate.
Yeah.
That could be the new Ripley Liv feud, essentially, once Liv gets back.
Yeah. And then there's also the thing of like, what if Raquel and Roxanne really kind of gel as a tag team with Liv gone?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah,
how much of a
I don't think they could kick Liv out of the Judgment Day. I think Finn will be the only one happy with that, with the way the current personalities are. But I could see Liv being jealous of the situation when she comes back and unhappy,
and
and
leaving
that
herself?
fueling her leaving the Judgment Day. I could see her putting Raquel in an awkward place too, making her choose between the two, or trying to divide Roxanne, her tag partner at the time, and her over it. A lot of high school drama storylines for sure, but it should be
Yeah,
good. That should be entertaining.
yeah, it should be. I'm looking forward to it because like, okay,
Yeah, we got
let's
a little
kind of
while
stir
yet,
up a
but
whole bunch of shit.
yep. So we could jump to Gunther and uh, Seth, I guess, at this point.
Yeah.
I think they were next.
Yeah, I kind of was expecting that. I kind of wasn't expecting Seth to come out there for that one.
I wasn't either, only because it feels like we're just skipping over Saturday Night Main Event, which why should I be surprised? Nothing happens on the show.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure they're just running the show to compete and give fans a free option as opposed to the other brand's pay-per-view that night. Um,
Makes sense.
I mean, it's AEW's biggest pay-per-view of the year. We've always been like, which is the biggest? Is it just Double or Nothing the biggest, or is All In the biggest, or what's they've kind of come out and said that this is the biggest one technically. So
Yeah.
now WWE's giving them a free option to work with instead to watch as a fan, so you don't have to pay $50 or whatever for it. And I feels like the only reason why they're doing this. And when they have a match like Goldberg versus Gunther, and they go, yeah, that's a thing, but Seth, go out there and promote the real storyline. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
that's how it feels to me. The other takeaway I have is this makes all the sense in the world. Again, I keep thinking Seth is in cooperation with The Rock. After he did the hand motion for the ref as identical to The Rock's Just Bring It, not to
Hmm.
mention the fact that it makes all the sense in the world he'd go after Gunther because he is Mr. Monday Night Raw. I can't even imagine seeing him on SmackDown, to be honest with you. He has been on Raw consistently for so long that it just makes sense he'd go back after that title. That was his title. That title was created essentially for Rollins to defend over and over and over again as Roman just carried around the Universal belt forever. Um, so it makes a lot of sense that that's the belt to go after. So to me, it all kind of makes sense that he would show up for Gunther's promo. It just makes the Goldberg match look even less of any importance.
Yeah. I mean, if people haven't caught on yet with the Saturday night main events, I mean, nothing really happens.
No.
You have some matches, and so far, nothing, no titles change hands, nothing of real substance comes out of them. It's just kind of like, okay, it was some wrestling to watch.
Yep.
It can be good matches, uh, but it's hollow
Yes.
underneath it.
Yes. Agreed.
Um,
Especially when they
so
start booking matches like this one that doesn't actually go anywhere.
yeah, and we can't like, I mean, we can't really think it's going to end up with Goldberg with the title. It's a retirement match. It's like, why would he?
Yep.
What's the point? Um, I mean, a way they could like go with it that I don't think they are going to is just, they always talk about like Goldberg can't wrestle. Well, you get the ring general in there just slapping him around and controlling the match and tiring out Goldberg. I don't think that's the way they're gonna go with it.
No.
But
I can't
I
see it being
mean,
more than a 15-minute match. Goldberg's going to hit his explosive spots after the ring general has laid on him a little bit. Like the ring general is going to keep the pace slow and wear down Goldberg, and then Goldberg is going to hit some explosive moves. But in the end, the much younger wrestler is going to win with probably a. I can't imagine Goldberg's going to tap out, but something more technical, something more of a wrestling type scenario. I'm waiting to see if Gunther gives Goldberg a real Gunther like chop. That's what I'm in. That's what I want to see.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah,
One of those.
but yeah. So I
Um,
mean, the only thing that I can take from this segment that the two things breaking it down is that, or I guess three things total, is Goldberg's match isn't super all that important to WWE. Seth going after Gunther makes a lot more sense because that's his belt. Seth probably won't get it, or at the very least, he's going to have to go through Punk. Punk and Seth are going to battle until one of them retires.
do you think we just end up having some sort of interference for the Goldberg match, and that's how it's just like, oh, okay, DQ, but I don't know. I don't know. Like, would
I don't.
Gunther win clean in this instance? It almost seems like he'd have to do some sort of heel shit to get a
Is this a
win.
title
And
match? Do we know for sure if this is a title match?
I don't know if it's a title match.
I keep assuming it is. It may not be a title match.
I guess it might not be, huh? It's just like, I don't know. For Saturday night main event, you got the guy with the title. I don't know. It doesn't seem to make sense. Why would you go for it? Except for it's just like, it's my retirement match. I could do one more match to beat your ass, and I don't want the title. I guess that could make sense. I guess that's probably what's screwing us up.
No, they're claiming it's for the title.
Oh, okay. Well, it would have sort of made sense if they're just like, oh yeah, it's not a title match. Like, oh, okay. So then, yeah. So then Goldberg's just gonna, win the damn thing.
Yeah. So, how does this play out? Seth comes down to cash in. It distracts the referee. Punk comes down. Chaos breaks out. Does Goldberg get speared by Braun Breaker? Or does Goldberg probably ends up spearing Braun Breaker as a distraction, as a whole distracted scenario, and then Gunther beats Goldberg from that.
Yeah.
Chaos breaks out. I don't know. Seth, actually, I take that back. Seth has got a match against LA Knight. They announced that tonight. So I guess Seth cashing in. He could still do it, though. If he tries to cash in but doesn't, distraction happens. Goldberg spears Breaker. But because he's distracted, Gunther beats Goldberg. Goldberg still looks strong to end his career. He spears the new spearing guy.
Yeah, because if you have Braun Breaker speared Goldberg and in any way, shape, or form cost them a match, it's just like, oh, okay, well, now he's got a rivalry match with him, and it wasn't a retirement match. He just prolonged Goldberg not getting.
But then you got to sign Rhino and have a battle of the spears. Spear versus Gore.
We've not done that already. They did. Did they never do that with Goldberg, Rhino, and Edge?
I don't think so.
Edge would have got paralyzed a lot sooner.
Oh my god, so many spears. That Gore was sick. I'm sorry. I think Rhino has the best one still.
Oh yeah, he does.
Man's got legs the size of trees. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, and just overall more weight to be barreling at you like a fucking bowling ball.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, I don't know.
Goldbergs are nice, but Rhino's like, good lord.
Yep.
Especially with all those spears into tables.
Yep. So that's my call, though. I think somehow Seth's group gets involved. Goldberg gets a hell of a spear on Braun Breaker. That distraction gives Gunther what he needs to win. Everyone looks good.
Oh no, a roll up.
Yeah. What else happened tonight as we try to wrap this up in next 15 minutes or so?
Here's the thing. I didn't. I was a little bit in and out for when the announce team first kind of addressed, the show. Um, did did they cover anything with Pat McAfee being burnt out, or was that just Pat saying it on his podcast like last week at some point, just going
I
like, "I'm
think it
burnt
was
out."
just Pat talking about it on the Pat
I was
McAfee show.
Gotcha. Well, that's a bummer, but maybe we'll see him after all the college game day stuff. Maybe he'll get a second win by then. It's kind of
Yeah,
like basically at this point, he's like taking a break until
I
college
love
game
Pat.
day.
My next or equally favorite commentary guy is Corey Graves. So I don't like to see Pat leave, but at the same time, I like Corey Graves a lot, so I'm fine.
Yeah.
When Pat comes back, it'll be a fun bonus when he comes back. But
Yeah, I like Corey with Michael Cole, so they're a
right,
pretty good mix.
Corey's.
Not my favorite, but yeah,
I feel like Corey's really good at calling the match while keeping his personality. He and Michael Cole were going back and forth, and he was like, "Michael, you don't even pick. You didn't hear me say a good thing about New Day because you don't listen to me. Clearly, you don't pay attention." But in mid sentence, someone did like a rollback through drop kick, and he, in the middle of talking about how Michael Cole doesn't pay attention to him, called the move with energy and went right back to badgering Michael Cole. And he's just very good at that. And I'm a big Corey Graves fan for that reason. Uh, so yeah, I'm fine with it. I get it from Pat's point of view too, because I mean he does have college game day coming up here in about a month. We did just hit July 13
yeah.
months ago.
And if you're burnt out, you're burnt out. It is probably best to just
Right.
speak up, give it up for the time being, because WWE wants him back, but it's just like, okay, you need some time, and we'll come back to it later.
Love him or hate
Um,
him, Pat is a hot commodity everywhere.
yeah, I mean, yeah, his personality. I mean, it's just like either probably you love him or hate him, sort of a
Yeah.
thing. There's probably no real in between. And I don't know, his banter with Michael Cole. I don't know. I just love it. It's kind of like perfect.
Yeah, it
Like
works well. I do like him.
it's same reason I love the banter between JR and Jared King Lawler, because
Yeah.
they just kind of like recapture that in a way, but for kind of more modern times.
Yep.
So, did we ever end up covering Otis and his injury? It's kind of
Nope.
like while I'm wearing my Alpha Babe shirt. Just listed today as going as off the active roster list
Mm-hmm.
because of uh, nagging elbow injury. It seems like that may or may not need surgery. Although if you're taking you off the active list, it sounds like you're going in for surgery. But I
At
didn't
very
quite
least,
get
they
clarity
know.
on that.
At very least, they know that that needs like non-contact, non-athleticism, so to
Yeah,
speak. It needs a lot of rest at very least.
maybe he's
So
off for a month.
yeah,
So
that's the most I've heard about it. So you've just rehashed everything I knew about the injury. So I can't really add any
I
more.
I really just saw it today on Instagram,
But we
which
also,
I think you probably saw probably the same thing.
yeah, um, in the same boat we have Chad Gable coming across as injured, which I read about that over the weekend, but they just kind of brought that into the actual storyline um,
Yeah, they get
tonight.
injured tonight. Yeah,
And then
or
I'm almost certain that was Kaiser, by the way, that walked by as El Grande.
I must have been looking away at that moment. I didn't notice it. I saw someone dressed up as El Grande, but I didn't think Chad was there. I might be getting myself
Chad
a little
isn't
bit
there.
confused.
Chad's injured, so he's going away. They said so. They went back and they talked to American Made again, and then El Grande walked by, and everyone looked confused. The thing about it is this El Grande was much taller than Chad Gable, in
Is he
my
taller
opinion.
and kind of thinner?
Yeah. So to
Oh,
me,
okay.
that felt like Kaiser walked by. So
Yeah, I can believe it.
um, it's good for. I mean, all of it. I think that's great for the storyline.
That would
So
be a good way for like when both those two parties are, healthy and all that, to actually be back and forth playing El Grande. There's
Yes.
two people that can do it.
Yes. I think it's great. I think it's great for us to talk about. I think it's great for Kaiser to stay in the ring and stay on TV in a way. I don't know how you
People,
ever really reveal it to be Kaiser. So
well,
it
you
has to
just
be
you,
Chad. You just do
yeah,
this for the swerve, I guess, for right now, for the controversy, for the giggles.
do that, but you also have a ability to actually do it where it's Chad Gable, and he's just like, all right, I'm picking my tag team partner tonight. It's El Grande.
Yeah, exactly.
It's just
Yeah.
Kaiser
Yep.
as them, and they go out there and have a match and go, see, it can't be me.
Yep. Exactly.
And then the next week, you don't have Chad Gable in a match. You have El Grande, but it's Chad Gable as El Grande,
Yep.
just to fuck with the
It's great.
audience.
It's great stuff.
I hope they do that. I
Yep.
hope this was a spark for them to be like, we're ahead of you guys. Fuck
Yep.
you, wrestling mats. This is already what we're doing. You're
It's.
catching up to our month or two long storyline.
I mean,
This was always the plan.
sure. How's it going, R-Truth? How's it going?
I'm driving now.
I wonder where R-Truth was tonight.
Um, he's SmackDown with Cena.
SmackDown. Cena goes wherever Cena wants to go, but yeah, they're on
'Cause,
SmackDown more.
I mean, Cena's technically has the SmackDown championship.
Right, but I believe he's been on a couple Raws just because it's Cena.
Well, yeah, the top guys are, like I said before, they're kind of doing that floating. That's kind of mixing us up with like who's on what roster at this point.
Because I was pretty sure R-Truth was Raw before that.
He was for a bit because he was joking around with Judgment Day for a bit,
Yep.
like back when Damian Priest was still a part of it.
Yep, and then he teamed with The Miz for a lot of it before The Miz got sent off to SmackDown.
Yeah, and then I think R-Truth didn't exactly follow him, but ended up going to SmackDown too,
Did
where
he? I don't remember
they're
him being on SmackDown.
crossing paths again. I'm pretty sure he's on SmackDown.
You could be right. I'm not saying you're not right. I just remember it. Yeah, we'll see how much they use him. I don't think he's gonna get used a whole lot. I'm not gonna lie.
And what R-Truth?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. You might have been right on that, where it's just like, okay, they'll bring him back for a little bit, and then when they kind of forget about it, they'll kind of just phase them back out.
Yep.
And
Even if they just keep on contract for the end of the year, as they phase out Cena, without Cena to tie to R-Truth, they'll forget.
without Cena, there is no truth.
That's deep.
Thank you.
Um, what else happened here? Let's get back on track.
Let's see. With Gunther and Seth, CM Punk just coming out to take a piece out of Seth, runs off Seth, and I don't know if I was surprised. I was kind of happy about, because whatever, I like CM Punk and I like Jey Uso, so seeing CM Punk just throw Gunther's ass to the mat as he grabs his arm to stop him for like kind of interfering, I was kind of happy to see that. But I don't know if that sets anything up, because it's like CM Punk not respecting Gunther at all. Just like, fuck you ring nothing, I'll throw you to the ground and not care.
Yeah. Just expect that next time that they're in the ring, let's say CM Punk runs off Seth again from a cash in or something like that, and CM turns around, Gunther's going to chop him into next century. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I think that any goodwill that CM Punk may have potentially have had with Gunther is gone, and I think you're going to see that. I think next time CM Punk comes out to help, Gunther is going to drop him.
I mean, we did see what was it, recorded from, I think it was like an untelevised
It's a
match
house
that they
show.
had.
They've stopped
Yeah,
doing the house shows for what I understand, which is sad. But yeah, you're talking about from the house show.
yeah, he chopped
He's
the
worked
living
with he's
shit out
worked
of
with
Punk.
Gunther already some.
And we saw
Um,
her like, ow, and
he
tapping
landed
out.
and he's like, "Yeah, I'm gonna tap now." Oh dear God.
Sign up for that.
Yeah. So
Uh, After that, what would have been after Gunther? Was it? It wasn't like the main event tag team match, was it?
nope.
What am I missing?
Give you like 2 more seconds or so.
Go ahead, jump in. I ain't gonna think of it.
It was Bailey and Lyra. Val.
Oh yeah, it was.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah.
That was that was a goofy end.
Um. Obviously, they needed to do an end. First off, this is a goofy scenario in its own right. I don't really understand either perspective, other than they're kind of both seemingly hot-headed, which is seemingly uncharacteristic for both of these super baby-faced good guys. You would think that the two of them could apologize and just get back to their order of like how they were friends-wise, but they can't seem to do that. So getting
Yeah.
past that, though, obviously they both want Becky. They want that IC belt. They both have good motivation for it. Match happens. Obviously, we're leading towards a triple threat.
Yeah, triple threat for SummerSlam, just like we did with the other women for WrestleMania. Making it too obvious.
The only thing is the way they set it up was a bit too bizarre, in my opinion. The double pin.
Yeah,
Like, the ref doesn't have to count there. And the ref shouldn't count in a number one contendership match like that.
no.
The ref could have discretion and be like, hey, just stand up. It ain't going to work. Like, when there's a 10 count going on outside the ring, the ref can get to like 6 and be like, get in. You're number one contendership. Get in, dummies. 7, you're still dumb. Get in. Like, that's the way a ref can handle that. So the ref can sit here and
Yeah.
honestly have the same discretion with a pin and be like, just like, the ref just looks down, looks at the hard cam, looks down, looks at the hard cam, like, what do I do with this? Like, it doesn't have to count and call it a draw. But, hey, if you want a triple threat match, you got to have a draw. This way it
Yeah.
shows that both are, they're equals. And we're going to have a
Yeah.
triple threat match. That's about it. That's the only reason why that happened.
In a sense, we're too old. We've seen too much of this stuff.
That was
in
just
the-
common
in the
sense.
past. Well, we've seen too much of it to be like if you were younger and didn't quite have the veil of the reality of wrestling, so to speak, pulled, you in this instance you could kind of like blame it on the ref if you're younger and just
Oh,
more
I blame on the ref. I
naive.
blame the refs for everything. I blame umpires. I blame referees. They're the worst. I love sports. I can't stand any of those other things.
They're in on it. But yeah,
That's my big argument. As umpires get stuff wrong, and especially holding calls in the NFL, I'm like, my biggest insult is like literally, I get less mad at the ref that's in on it for missing stuff in the wrestling ring than I do the ref that missed the 5 seconds of holding in front of his face in the NFL. So,
yeah,
in all regards, I do really actually enjoy the referees in WWE, but
they're part of the show.
right.
I mean,
But yeah, obviously, it goes back to the writing. You just look at that and go, why is that what we're doing here?
yeah, it is kind of
Jessica
like
just did her job, and when she did it just fine. She does great with everything she does, but the writing is like,
Oh yeah, I know that was her spot essentially.
right,
It's like
exactly.
you're gonna count them both and be like it's a
Right.
draw.
She did not check to make sure those shoulders were down 13 times and then move a foot like she did at the pay-per-view. Or the night, the whatever it was, Friday before, whichever night it was that she had to move a foot out of the way because Jade didn't realize the shoulder was still up. No, she was like, I'm going to count this. I'm supposed to count this. I'm going to count this to 3, which is what you're supposed to do. It's her job. But
Yeah.
writing wise, I'd be like, I would just look at Trips and be like, I would never do this. Like, why would I do this?
Yeah. Like, you're going to have to put some other ref in there for this match. So
On Broadway, it would be like, my character just doesn't feel this. Like, I don't feel like my character would be this dumb. Like, I don't think.
Yeah.
I could never be a good ref, though. I would. That would be me at their, like, look at their people, look at the camera, look at the, just breaking the fourth wall. Be the Deadpool of referees.
Just stand there until one's just like, well, are you going to count? I'm like, which one?
Yeah.
Both of you at the same time?
Okay, 1, 2, 3. Now both stand up and rock, paper, scissors to see who wins. I don't have to tell you. You wanted me to count.
The whole reason they don't kick out is they think they got the other one pinned and they're not being pinned.
Right.
Surprise, you're both being pinned, so nobody kicked out.
Now what I would do in character would be like, at the start of every match, if I'm having one arm hit, one person's being pinned. If you see double arms, you're both being pinned, all right, dummies?
Yeah.
Probably somebody kick out.
If I am yeeting the floor,
right,
you're both being pinned.
Right, exactly. So, yeah, I don't know. It's just one of those things. Like, if you have a number one contendership match, a ref should never do that in theory. But again, it's just part of her spot, part of the story. Just to me, that the story doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, it doesn't.
Now, if this was an indie match, I might be concerned the ref screwed up.
Yeah.
I would never get over the two refs in indie wrestling that just both blew my mind. The one that got to 9 or 7 and went back to 1 on a count on the outside.
Yeah.
7. 1. 2. Like, what? And then the other one who did the count out, which, again, the wrestlers took care of. The one was turning heel and just used that time to beat up the wrestler and made things better. And that ref is learning, and he did come and go, what do I do?
Was that the one where the one kid was
brand new,
a student?
Yep.
And he crotched him on the guardrail in front of his like parents and his girlfriend and chopped the fuck out of him in front of us.
So Cisco, who's a fantastic person, was turning heel at that show. I don't know where I haven't been to that promotion in a minute. And but Cisco's fantastic. And he was turning heel and he crotched his opponent, who was a brand new, just out of school student, and was chopping him right in front of his girlfriend and I think his mom. And wasn't supposed to be a count out, but the ref just kept counting. Eventually got the count out, which surprised both wrestlers because they didn't expect to be counted out. That wasn't supposed to be how it ended. But Cisco just ran with it, chucked him back in the ring, continued to beat him up, yelled at the ref. It worked brilliantly for him. But then to the ref's credit, he did go ask Cisco, what do I do? And that's when Cisco's like, come get us. Come be like, get back in the ring. Get back in the ring. And then, we're on 7. We got to get back in the ring now. This way that the wrestlers do have an idea of where they're at and get back in the ring.
That's good of him being a more veteran person in the ring, period, to be able to be like, all right, well, I'll work around this little snafu.
Yeah,
and then
he ran with it perfectly. He did.
Talk to him later and iron that out.
Yep.
So.
Yep.
Every
promotion should really value people that can calmly and nicely express, okay, this is how I would do that differently, or this is how I would do this differently, or this is why we do it this way. I'd always say, hey, check with the promoter. The promoter's got his vision for everything, obviously, in the end. But if that wasn't the end of the match, that's how I would have done it, personally, at least, to avoid having an unwanted finish to the match, so to speak. But
it's like all the stuff I ever heard about the Undertaker backstage, like what you heard. It always sounded like to me like he was such like a scary hard ass in the back, but everything you actually saw where it's just like, they're being filmed and he's just talking to people and like he's obviously like working out the psychology and this is what you want to do here, this is what you could do here.
Right.
And he's being a teacher and it's just like I don't know how that sort of got misconstrued by some people to come out and just
I'm sure he could be. Don't get me wrong. And I'm sure
sure.
part of it is some of the people that we knew were there probably felt like he was so close to Vince that it like he got on my way of doing this or doing that. And I'm sure that was never the goal. The one Dead Man Show, he tells a lot of great stories, and he doesn't come across as too much of a hard ass in any of his stories. Um, Talks about helping out Midian and them. He talks about one of his first matches where he didn't want to end up fighting the Road Warriors in his underwear. That was one of the matches because there was a whole build up. Go see the show. It was fine. I enjoyed the first half a lot better than the second half. No offense to it. The first half felt like he was actually doing his thing. The second half seemed like it was predetermined questions from the audience, and he had predetermined answers. I could be wrong, but it felt more like that. Whereas the first half, I was all in, man. He was telling stories that were great. Like I said, the Midian stuff was great. His first tag match where the Road Warriors were going to kick his ass, he thought, because of how it went.
Oh yeah,
Um,
yeah, yeah. And
all
they
of
just
that
came
stuff.
back and
Yeah.
shook their hands. Just a
Yep.
great match.
Yep.
Yeah.
So, but great
Yeah.
stories.
I mean, even Cody Rhodes tells a good Rumble match when you're just like, hey, there's the Undertaker over there. Just hauls off and hits him in the back as hard as he can. And he's just like, the Undertaker just kind of turned around like, who the fuck just hit me that hard? And just like goes to like, line up for a choke slam. He's like, oh shit, I'm going up. And he's just like, good, kick me in the knee. Like, kick him in the knee. And he goes, drop kick me. I drop kick him. He takes a bump.
Yep.
He's like, well, yeah.
Yep. Yep.
He's a teacher.
Yep. And he was just a patient, good dude. It seems like back there. I think sometimes if you're not one to be over the top and part of the guys all the time, you might be looked at a little bit more stern. But I feel like at some point you age out of being the craziness that is. His crazy stories were the Attitude Era. So like,
yeah, and probably before that as well.
Yeah, exactly. So like as you get into like the 2010, 2011, 2012, he's like, I am too old for this shit. I'm sure is what's going through his head a lot of the times.
Yeah,
So,
there's a lot of things he could really talk more on like his podcast, but you see him being really measured where it's just like talk about Hogan and it's just like I could say some stuff, but I'm not going to. It's just like,
well, he's still from an era where that stuff was behind the scenes and stayed behind the scenes as opposed to what it is now, which is everybody wants the dish on everybody immediately for the clicks and the likes and the this and the that. You can tell he's much more reserved.
Yeah, takes more of the high road. It's just like,
yep.
Yeah, we had some not so good times together, but I'm just gonna be like, all right, well, I'll be kind of like honorable on my side, even though he necessarily wasn't.
All right.
But anyways,
yep.
Main event time.
Yeah, we're closing in on an hour. Yeah, main event. What you think?
I like some of the teamwork from Sammy and Penta. Some of the flips outside were pretty good. Them doing the Penta walk together, that was pretty good.
That was good. That was good. That was a good moment. I agree.
The little tribute to Sabu, that was cool. Because a lot of the flips that Sammy's been doing on the ropes right there have been like, oh, I'm gonna go for it, and then bounces on the rope and reverses it into recovering and not making an outside dive.
Yep.
So it was kind of cool for him to do the same method, but actually do a move to the outside with it.
Yeah, he's done that in the past, but he has slowed down on doing it to the outside.
Yeah. It seems like you put him with someone that does that sort of thing, and he kind of steps up his game for like, well, I'm gonna sort of match this guy's energy, like Penta.
I think a lot of that goes with the person you're with, the people you're in the ring with, and then if the crowd is behind you, it's a lot. I don't say easier to get into the flow of that, but it does help apparently.
Also helps when you got two big catchers on the outside to be like, okay, we got you.
Yeah, that's true. That's
You
true
got two
too.
big
That does help.
bastards to land on. That helps.
That does help. You're not wrong. But
So
I think overall the match was fine. I don't think it achieved anything other than being a good match and giving them some time in the ring to work together with each other. Um,
yeah,
but I don't think it really. I mean, no surprise. Jay comes out, makes the save.
yeah. It was an interesting matchup. Just two kind of agility based guys versus two just big meaty men slapping meat kind of guys.
Yep.
So
Yeah.
yeah,
It is what it is. I don't. Other than trying to set up the storylines or the dodgeball teams, essentially, that is the Seth group versus Sammy, Penta, Jay. I
yeah.
can't imagine this is going to run into November, but it feels like this is the start of maybe some pieces of the Survivor Series matchup. That
Oh
being
yeah.
said, Reed's not jumping off the top of the cage again.
No. Nah, he's gonna stick to the turnbuckle. There's a couple times with getting on the turnbuckle, he doesn't even get like both feet on the turnbuckle. He
No,
just
he.
kind of steps over the top rope and goes for it.
Yep.
It's like that's enough. I don't have to go higher. And
Yep.
hopefully he's kicking his feet back and not landing on them.
He does seem to be doing okay with that this time. I think he takes
Uh,
a couple. I do think he belly flops occasionally on the mat itself, as
yeah.
opposed to getting his knees and his elbows in. But
Yeah. After him sustaining that double ankle break, it seemed like he lost some weight on his road to recovery and coming back. It looked like he came back. You know, leaner is not the right term, but just not as heavy.
yeah, lighter in general.
Yeah,
I didn't notice, but if that's the case, that's awesome. Good for
yeah.
him.
Like he can be a big man, but it's just like also within
Just for your
reason.
health, take some of that weight off your poor heart that's got to do all that
Yeah,
work.
and your ankles that you had to unbreak.
Right. You're
I thought
still.
that recovery would have been a lot worse with him just going like, I broke both my ankles and I'm this heavy of a man. Like, oh God,
Yep. Yep. Agreed.
Yeesh.
But
But
he's still
he
he's
did it.
still a massive human being. He's still no one to mess with. Don't get me
Oh
wrong.
yeah,
But
he's a big boy
yeah,
for sure.
I don't know. It just didn't. That match just didn't do much for me. It was fun, but like again, don't really feel like it pushed anything anywhere.
Yeah,
Event
it
wise.
really just kind of kept the tensions between the baby faces and Seth's regime just kind of just.
But to me, it's an afterthought, anyways, because really the tension's still there between Punk and Seth, and that's the main story to me.
Yeah, but Seth now has two guard dogs and a wise man,
And
so
we realized that CM Punk's going to have a Sami Zayn and a Penta with him.
yeah,
That's kind of, you know,
and probably a Jey Uso,
yeah.
probably a Cody Rhodes. Technically, they're all
See,
they really
Cody's
did piss everybody off.
they did, but Cody has fixated on the title belt from Cena now.
Yeah,
So the thing about that is who's going to work with Cena? Because at some point, I'm still believing that Cena is going to have more backup. Cena just can't keep cheating his way through person after person after person and not pissing off half the roster, just like Seth is doing.
yeah, yeah. I just man. When do they step up and add something more to this?
We keep waiting. I
Yeah.
bravo to Cena. If this wasn't the game plan from the very beginning, bravo to Cena for trying to make this work. Like if there was supposed to be
Yeah.
more to it with The Rock and this and that, and Cena's just improvised his way to this point, fantastic.
Oh, the Rock bailed on me, and now I just got to make this whole fucking thing work.
Yep,
Oh,
yep.
vey, jeez,
Because he's
that is
never even
really
brought it up again. He's never even brought up the fact that he's The Rock's champion. But The Rock made a big deal out of having The Rock's champion.
yeah. They made it to be a thing, and then just we've said it a million times, just they just no shows WrestleMania, and then we go through several PLEs and Saturday night main events, and just nothing. It's like The Rock has absolutely no time to spare to show up and go like, okay, here's where we're gonna like kind of continue the story. Like, surprise, here it is.
Yep.
Instead, like they could have done that as a swerve, like instead of the obvious thing of WrestleMania, because God, they ended it on such a like downer where everyone's just like, that was the end of WrestleMania weekend. That was horrible. Everyone hated that universally. And then they could have pulled a swerve and been like one of the next PLEs to be like, okay, this is where we continue with it, because we weren't going to just hand you the obvious moment. We were going to create our own.
Right.
That could have worked, but here we are still waiting, and SummerSlam's on approach.
Yep.
So,
Yeah.
I don't know.
We'll have to wait and see.
I just hope they make sense of it, because right now it's just with the Cena thing, it's just like, it's kind of lost. It's just like, okay, so he's just gonna run through everybody as a heel, and
maybe he
then
takes
what?
the belt. Maybe he runs through the heel and takes the belt.
Yeah, and then they introduce a new belt. I think
Yep.
you were talking about
Yep.
that.
They love to introduce new belts.
Night.
Yep. They love to introduce new belts.
He just takes that one home and goes like, yeah, well, Cena took that one, but we still need a belt for this show, so here's the He Ruined Wrestling belt.
Yeah, brought to you by Popeyes and
I would accept a Popeyes belt.
that would be not too bad.
Anything else, I don't think I would chill out for that, but a Popeyes belt, yes.
So, yeah, I still think he turns face again. I think he still overcomes the corporation at some point, but when and how, I don't know, because they don't feel like they're setting it up just yet.
Yeah.
But
they gotta figure out something.
Yep, but we're over an hour. We were trying to shoot for under an hour, so we should probably call it there.
All right, that sounds good.
All right. We might do one of these if we have time for the AEW brand. We might do one of these for SmackDown on Saturday. Who knows? And then we might do something on the 19th after we went to a live event. It's happening in Cleveland.
Okay. Yeah.
Talk about that. Show some photos, stuff like that.
Yeah.
Because Gigi and Cora will both be on that show again, and we'll have some pretty good seats for it. So,
yeah.
But we'll see. Definitely put some YouTube shorts up and things like that as well of that show, because absolutely love those two, and a lot of our local friends and favorites are at that show too. So, but yeah, that's what we got coming up, and then maybe I'll do something for UFC 318. Which I believe is the 19th, I believe.
Oh, okay. Already up to 18. I was
17,
I was still getting used to
17 just happened last Saturday.
That's what that was. Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, because I know we just had, UFC 316. They made a shirt for it and everything.
Yep, that was at the middle of June. That was
Gotcha.
the O'Malley one. I got that one. That was okay. The prelims for the 317 was fantastic, and then actually it carried over. Even the main event was really good for 317. I've watched the highlights. I will watch it once it hits ESPN Plus in a month or two or whatever it is before it hits that. It's hilarious. O'Malley, the guy that I've done that seminar with and that I watched 316 for, after he retained his belt one time, back before he lost it, he called out the guy who won at 317. He's like, I'll take that guy. And they cut to at-home footage of O'Malley and his coaching staff watching 317. And the guy that he had originally called out knocks out Charles Oliveira with a great 2-3 combo. Boom, boom. I mean, boxing was solid. He's a way shorter fighter than Oliveira. He keeps his body tight, keeps his hands in nice and tight, and his 2-3 combo was all explosive, very good boxing, and knocks out Oliveira. And it cuts back to O'Malley and his coaches going, damn, who is going to drop that guy? And O'Malley going, I am real glad that fight didn't happen. I am really glad he did not take me up on my call out after I won that belt before.
Yeah, he still can now.
Well, O'Malley's got to fight his way back up to the top at this point and figure out what he needs to do next because he lost to I'm blanking the guy he just lost to twice in a row. Shorter dude at 5'6", but I'm blanking on his name. But he needs to find himself and what he's going to do next because that seems to be a hurdle he can't seem to tackle.
Gotcha.
But anyways,
right.
So yeah, that was 317 in a nutshell.
All right.
But all right, we will be back probably by the end of the week at some point with something.
Yep.
So for Matt and for the Wrestling Mats podcast, I guess that will be it for the day.
Yep.
So we will talk to you again soon.
Yep. Bye.
Bye.